Different countries have different ways of using the same ingredient, and I'm exploring that with the potato. Today, I'm making vada pav from India. I started by boiling and mashing the potatoes before adding them to a pan where I previously cooked the mustard seeds, curry leaves, hing, and a rough paste of green chili and garlic that I made with my mortar and pestle. And after adding the mixture to a bowl with coriander and salt, I shaped them into balls and set them aside while I prepared the chutneys. The first is a sweet and sour tamarind chutney, for which I soaked and strained some tamarind paste before cooking it into a pan with cumin seeds, chili powder, ginger powder, hing, and salt. And once those were well incorporated, I added jaggery to make it thick and sweet. The second one is a simple green chutney made with coriander, garlic, green chili, salt, and a bit of lemon juice. And finally, the batter for the potato balls is made with gram flour, turmeric, salt, and water. And after deep frying, the dish is ready to be served. The dish is also traditionally served with dry red garlic chutney, and it didn't cross my mind that I could have made it myself when I didn't find it at the store. But regardless, this is incredibly flavorful. Different countries have different ways of using the same ingredient, and I'm exploring that with the potato. Today, I'm making potato au gratin from France. I started by peeling and thinly slicing a few potatoes and let them rest in water for a few minutes. In another bowl, I added heavy cream, a few tablespoons of melted butter, and made a paste with 2 garlic cloves and added that as well. And after mixing and drying the potatoes from the starchy water, I assembled in a casserole dish by laying the potatoes first, the cream, Gruyere cheese, salt, pepper, thyme, and rosemary. And after doing that a few times, I covered and cooked at 180 for about an hour and 20 minutes. And finally, I added the last layer of Gruyere cheese and broiled for 5 minutes. This was cheesy, garlicky, and potatoey. 3 things that together will never not be amazing. Different countries have different ways of using the same ingredient, and I'm exploring that with the potato. Today, I'm making locro de papa from Ecuador. I started by chopping some onion and garlic and added it to a pot with olive oil, cumin, and smoked paprika. The star of the show needs to be cubed and mixed with all the aromatics in the pot before being covered with water. And while that cooks for about 20 minutes, I shredded some coriander and fresh queso. I then mashed everything with a wooden spoon until it reached a rustic consistency and added some milk. And after lowering the heat to a minimum, I added coriander and queso and gave a little taste before adjusting for seasoning. In a maybe not so traditional move, I decided to boil and char some corn on the cob, and used it for garnish alongside more queso, avocado, and coriander. And I don't say it lightly, but this might be my favorite soup ever. Different countries have different ways of using the same ingredient, and I'm exploring that with the potato. Today, I'm making pasta con patate from Italy. I started by chopping a carrot, a celery stick, and a shallot, and added them to a pot with olive oil. As I let those cook for a couple minutes, I also chopped a few cherry tomatoes, and after adding them to the pot alongside a parmesan crust, I got to peeling and cubing the star of the show, the potato. After seasoning with a hefty pinch of salt and pepper, I added a glass of water and let it cook for 20 minutes, until finally I unconventionally cooked the pasta straight in the pot until the potatoes made it all creamy. And after an optional but recommended addition of provola cheese and a bit of black pepper, the dish is ready to be served. So this is how Italy uses the potato. Which country should we explore next? Different countries have different ways of using the same ingredient, and I'm exploring that with the potato. Today, I'm making Jansten frestelle from Sweden. I started by frying an onion in some butter and salt until translucent. I then peeled and cut into slivers a few potatoes, almost in a French fry shape. And finally, I opened a can of anchovies before starting the assembly process. This goes potatoes, onion, a few anchovies fillet, and repeat it until out of ingredients. And while that pre-cooked in the oven, I made a mixture of the anchovy oil, milk, cream, salt, and pepper. And once heated up, I used it to drown the potatoes and added breadcrumbs on top, before going back in the oven for about 30 minutes. This seemed like an odd combination at first, but it's surprisingly super tasty. And because I don't write in this series,